look, our military's fine. And to answer your question, do I think that we are ready to go take on? I still believe with every moral fiber of my being, and nobody has any statistics to show us any different, that we would smoke check anybody on the face of the planet. And I'll tell you this, our enemies know that. And let me tell you how I know that, because none of them are fucking with us. Hey, it's Dakota with Your Human Podcast.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Good. What's going on?
My name is Billy. Can I call in?
Yeah, of course. You're on. You're live.
Okay, great.
What's going on, Billy?
All right, man. No, man, I just wanted to talk to you. First of all, Simplified, man. I'm a former Marine, 1987, 89, Cherry Point.
Oh, awesome, man. Thank you for your service.
And I thank you for your service, and big fan of yours and your, what you did there for the Medal of Honor.
Man, I appreciate it.
Hey, I wanted to ask you and talk to you about the state of our military today.
Yeah.
Like, ever since, Trump got out, it has declined a lot. The readiness. And then, what I'm seeing a lot now, too, on social media is all these TikTok videos being made by our members.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of it's, like, stupid. And,
Yeah.
and I'm not saying, I understand, this is the generation of the social media military. But it's almost like it's embarrassing sometimes when you see some of these videos that they post. And I know when I was back in the 80s, I mean, things were strict. You couldn't do certain things. Obviously, we didn't have cell phones back then.
Mm-hmm.
But it's almost like, the whole respect and decorum of acting like a Marine or a soldier or a Navy sailor has gone out the window. And it's like it's almost like second fiddle to being, a person now. But, you're supposed to, when you go in the military, that's what you're supposed to be first, regardless if you're staying for 2, 3, 4 years or for a career.
Yeah.
But so I want to ask you what you think about all that. And number two, real fast, to be honest, I mean, if are we ready to fight the next World War?
Mm-hmm.
Is the United States military ready and capable of taking on like an alliance of China, Russia, North Korea, and Iran?
Yeah. So okay.
I'd love to hear what your thoughts.
Yeah.
That.
So the first thing is with the aspect of seeing all these influencers on social media, man. So first off, who did you serve under? What was the president that you served under?
Well, it was Reagan,
mm-hmm.
and P.X. Kelly was the commandant.
P.X. Kelly was the commandant. Yep.
To 89.
So you were in there during.
Early hurt my knee.
Yep. So, what did people think about when the military had to serve under Bill Clinton?
I don't know. I mean,
it was. I mean, everybody. So everybody we've served under, like when Obama got, I was in with George W. Bush, and then Obama got elected. Oh, the military's going to shit, right? Like when I came in, you know what the older guys were telling me? That we were the weakest generation they'd ever seen. We weren't going to be able to do shit, right? Like, so my opinion. This is, and I'll tell you this. I'm going to give you some data points to it too. Statistically, the men and women who are serving today are smarter, they're healthier, and they are stronger than any generation ever. They can process information at a rate that me and you could never do, right? Because they grew up with technology. And the military, everything's going to technology. So what I will say is like, yeah, I see a lot of these campaigns as far as, I do think that the military is having a recruiting problem, but I think this is something that's not, I mean, we're 22 years after, we're 20 some years after a war, right? Like the biggest recruitment tool for the last 20 some years has been 9/11, right? So I think that does the military have a recruitment problem? Yes, but I don't believe it's because the next generation doesn't want to serve. I don't believe that at all, and I don't believe it's because the next generation's weak. Honestly, I just believe that the military is so far behind on their marketing aspects and tactics and they're trying to figure that out as it goes, right? I mean, look, every company out there, as far as recruiting and hiring, their number one thing one of the number one things that they're trying to figure out is marketing and how to make their company appealing to somebody to want to work for, right? So I think the military is in the middle of that process right now. I think it's a normal growth process. I don't worry about it at all. I see this TikTok stuff. I think that if the military wants people to join them, they have to reach them at the way, I mean, the next generation, the next generation of the young men and women who want to serve this country, what are they watching? TikTok, right? So
no, I hear what you're saying, but it is another question though.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard what you said, that this generation is the smartest,
yeah,
the fittest, and I forgot the other thing you said, and they're exposed to technology that we weren't exposed to years ago. Correct, sure, but the bottom line is this:
mm-hmm.
but do they have the will to fight?
Yeah.
Will this generation, if it's called upon in another draft,
Mm-hmm.
and if we do go to World War III, Dakota, there's going to have to be a draft. Will this generation right now in America will they go?
I bet you anything. Well, I don't believe that we would need a draft. I believe I meet with high schools all the time. These kids want to serve. These kids love their country. I mean, I'll tell you, I think that the concept of saying, well, the next generation just doesn't want to serve is a cop-out answer to, hey, we just aren't worth serving for, right? And what do I say with that? And I know it's a very dangerous subject, but let me ask you this. If I am coming out here and I'm talking shit about the Marine Corps sucks and I don't have a job now as a veteran and I got out and I'm all broken and I look like a box of broken toys after getting out, why would you want to go join that?
Yeah, well, you would never say that in the first place.
No, I mean, I wouldn't, but let me say this.
Yeah.
You want to talk about what's detrimental to our military more than anything? More than these TikTok videos and this, them trying to go there, is all these veterans who are coming out and talking shit about the military. That's what's detrimental to it. These veterans coming back and saying, this sucks, the Marine Corps fucked me, saying all this, I can't get a job after getting out. Like where the Marine Corps or the military in general has messed up is they've had a bunch of people serve them that are entitled little shitheads, right? And so that's where the problem lies is not, look, our military's fine. And to answer your question, do I think that we are ready to go take on? I still believe with every moral fiber of my being, and nobody has any statistics to show us any different, that we would smoke check anybody on the face of the planet. And I'll tell you this, our enemies know that. And let me tell you how I know that, because none of them are fucking with us. If China thought that they could if China thought that we were weak, what do you think they would have already done?
Well, I don't think that they think we're weak. I think they think we're weaker than we were. And, and I think what they're planning on doing, obviously a lot of people think, Taiwan is their ultimate goal. When you think about that, I mean, and I think they will act when they think they are ready to do that. That's going to be really hard to defend, if they attack Taiwan, and then we're going to have to logistically move everything over there and bring in ships and everything, the fleet into those close to those waters in line of their missiles.
Man, we would
thousands and thousands of missiles. I mean,
we would fuck them up in no time. And let me say this. Here's how I'll tell you. Name one other country that has been fighting that's been in more conflicts than us since World War II. Who do you
Well,
think's up to speed? Who do you think's got
well,
the most advanced technology? Because we've been in the game. And here's what I'll tell you. And let me give you this example. When Russia invaded Ukraine, it was equivalent to in 2000, what? When did we invade Iraq?
2003.
2003. Would you say that those were about equivalent? Like Ukraine is about equivalent as Iraq back then?
Well, first of all, two different things. Number one, when Russia invaded, they didn't invade the whole country. They only invaded the eastern part of Ukraine, and they used a small force. They weren't trying to overwhelm the country. In Iraq, when we went into 2003, we actually bombarded them heavily with the air first. Russia really didn't use the air before.
I was there. I was there in March of 2022 when Russia invaded. Right after they invaded.
Where Ukraine?
Yeah, and they were in Kyiv. So, I mean, I mean, they wanted it. And if they didn't go in all the way, then that's probably their fault. But I do believe that right now they are trying their best and throwing everything but the kitchen sink at it, right? I mean, we can agree on that.
I disagree. Do you Dakota? Do you listen to or do you watch Colonel McGregor at all on YouTube?
No, never heard of him.
Yeah, retired Colonel McGregor. He was the tank battalion, I think, whatever the tanks were called back then. He fought in that famous battle in the first Gulf War, 73 Eastling, and he was the commander. He was in Trump's cabinet. He was like the assistant to the Secretary of Defense under Trump. Well, anyway, he's very knowledgeable. I follow him a lot on YouTube, and I watch him. And, I got to say, a lot of what he says is very different than what the American media and Western media is reporting.
I mean, I'm not getting my stuff from the American media. I mean, I'm getting my stuff from the guys that are in the game. You know what I mean? From the guys who are watching ISR feed and the guys who are, listen, the numbers that Russia has lost is astronomical. And so anyways, back to my point is Russia invading Ukraine is about like when the United States invaded Iraq. We had them wrapped up in 24 hours. And I truly believe that the reason China has not jumped on Taiwan is because, they might take the initial strike. They're going to probably get us a little bit. But the last thing that any country wants to do to the United States of America right now is give us a single enemy, because we will unite. We will unite. And the last thing that they want us to do is unite right now against an enemy. And so they're not going to give us one, because right now we're weak because we're not united. But as soon as somebody messes with us, as soon as somebody comes in and fucks with the United States of America or its people, the people will unite. And we've seen that during COVID, right? And so my thing to it is like, people can argue whatever. Everything's an opinion until it's not. But I think that our military is as strong as it's ever been. I think that, there's a couple social issues, but I can tell you right now that the social issues that the media is pushing, the Lance Corporal on the ground does not give two fucks about genders and all this shit. They're out there getting after the mission, right? Like, look, when I was we were dealing with sexual harassment and all the same bullshit they're dealing with today, right? None of us gave a fuck about it, because guess what? If you were a Marine, you were a Marine, and we took care of you. Now, maybe in higher up ranks or whatever else, but I promise you, the E3 and below that's out there, the infantryman, the tip of the spear gunfighter, is none of this shit's affecting them or bothering them at all, right? Period. And I mean, listen, I go speak to them all the time. I'm on the base, and these are not topics of their problems.
No, I agree with you. The rank and file, I have faith in. I have much faith in the executive positions of the military at this point. And I'm talking about, generals and above.
Yeah. Oh, well, listen, we've always had a problem there, right? Like that's all.
Hey, one last question.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't want to take up a lot of your other callers. Do you think, honestly, going to war over Ukraine and Taiwan and is in our national interest?
I think that if China takes and goes after Taiwan within the next 4 years, we absolutely have to defend it all the way to the point that we can't. We have to. I think after 4 years, every year that goes by that they don't, we are coming. Look, the biggest enemy to the United States of America is that we're so reliant on all these other countries economically, right? I mean, that's really the enemy, right? Like China is not going to have to fight us because they could shut us off. I mean, shit, they can go down and close the Panama Canal and fuck us over, right? So my thing is like every year that goes by, I believe that we are, corporations in America and businesses in America are starting to see this pipeline problem, this supply line problem. And so they're trying to get more self-sustainable. And I think that, the longer we go on, the less power they have. But I think, I mean, at the end of the day, if they went after Taiwan today, we'd absolutely have to defend it. Ukraine, I think we should support if they get out of Ukraine and they go to, I would never vote for a president right now that said we're going to war in Ukraine. You can argue the rest of these topics, but if a president, if one of these people who are running for president right now says that we are willing to go to war in Ukraine right now, they should automatically be off of your go vote list. Now, I think that if they roll into Poland or something like that, we got a different ball game on our hands.
Well, yeah, that's different. That's a NATO member.
Yeah, but
Putin would do because he knows that we're in World War III. Hey, real fast before I go, you ever hear the documentary "Everything Is a Rich Man's Trick"?
No. I'm going to check it out.
Chance. Try to look that up on YouTube. Really make you think differently about how we've been lied to by our government in the last 70, 80 years.
100%. I definitely agree with you on that.
The rich man's trick.
Hey.
It starts from World War I all the way to the present day.
They say war is a racket, right? It's the only business that you're guaranteed to make a profit in.
War is good for business.
Yep.
And the rich get richer while the patriots go and die.
100%.
Listen, man. Thank you for Semper Fi.
Semper Fi, brother. Have a good day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.